you.
Yes.
But supposing I will ask you to give to this committee or submit to this committee ano yung mga cases na involved sa extrajudicial killings na na-file ng criminal case by IAS to prove your point.
We will wait for the IAS to respond to that, Your Honor.
Yes. And that is why, Mr. Chair, may I move that we invite the director of IAS in the next hearing para masettle tong issue nito?
Okay, there's a motion to invite the head of the IAS.
Second.
And duly seconded. Any objection? Hearing none, the said motion is now approved.
Mr. Chair, I also would like to inform the body, especially our, I like Attorney Conti and Mr. Meta, that this morning, the Committee on Appropriations already approved, no? The Committee on Human Rights was the first one who approved that. But today, already approved the CHR charter. Oo. Now, Mr. Chair, I think that there should not only be a review of these cases, there ought to be a reinvestigation of these cases, Mr. Chair. Would that be the kind of mandate the Philippine National Police also has? Because the thing is, yung mga investigation ginawa on the last administration were actually wala eh. Wala nangyari. So, I'd like to ask Major General Salvador, would you agree that all of those victims of the extrajudicial killings, more than 7,000 of them or more, should be reinvestigated further? Major General.
Yes, Your Honor, it's possible for investigation.
Therefore, Mr. Chair, if it's possible, then I would strongly suggest that these victims should be reinvestigated so that the proper charges in court should be filed. Mr. Chair. Major General, would you please answer?
Yes, Your Honor. It's a matter of the inventory of cases, and I believe it will be coinciding with the cases of the Internal Affairs Service.
Attorney Conti, may tanong lang ako, Mr. Chair, tanong lang ako, Attorney Conti, no? Considering yung mga present situation before, during the time nung last administration, and kanina sinabi ni NBI Director that nahirapan silang i-pursue yung mga cases because of a lot of different factors. Like, well, yung mga evidences, medyo wala na, 2 years or 3 years ago pa. And at the same time, yung consideration of the families, would you agree with me na ang one of the factors why the families are not cooperating during that time because of the policy of the government?
Yes, Your Honor. And the continuing security threats to themselves. Kasi yung police na nag-operate o pumatay, dun pa rin naka-assign. At probably sila rin ang mag-iimbestiga. So,
And that's the reason why kaya yung resulta natin sa pagpa-file ng case, yung iba nadidismiss dahil nga po sa takot ng pamilya because of the existing environment, no? Moving forward, no? Now that we have realized that in accordance with the suggestion of Congressman Chairman Abante na to reopen the investigation of all these cases, and having considered the manifestation of the NBI Director with regards to sa mga evidences, do you think we will be having a hard time to pursue all of this investigation? And if we will be having a hard time moving forward as a lawyer, ano po yung pwede nating gawin?
Your Honor, first off, it would take a big deal to recover or restore the trust of these people, of these victims, in the investigation and justice system in the Philippines. Pasensya na po, pero parang nabasag lahat yun nung nakaraang panahon. And lalo na, the killings continue. DAHAS, the organization which monitors killings, have noted some 300 killings last year as well. And we think it could be related to continuing practice, kung mga nakasanayan na po ng mga pulis. Kung wala mang policy na sasabihin or walang sinasabi, parang patuloy pa rin talaga yung kalakaran. Ang pwede po siguro, if this committee or this government wants to investigate everything, as a rule, continue with the investigation. If some of the victims would prefer not to be reinvestigated, then allow them that leeway. So as a rule, lahat po iimbestigahan ulit, ilalabas lahat ng ebidensya, and just allow the victims to opt out.
Paano lalabas yung ebidensya kung halimbawa wala na nga po yung ebidensya?
Sa totoo po, actually, ito yung tanungan namin eh. Kung yung biktima po yung tatanungin, wala po sa amin din yung ebidensya. Nasa PNP po. Kaya,
like for example, ito nga. I
Yes,
think,
Your Honor.
I just think about this, no? Because of the environment of the last administration, those evidences na, well, I hope that they can really deliver all those weapons, no? Na nakuha sa crime scene, but I really doubt kung meron talaga. But kung wala, moving forward, we cannot investigate anymore. So, ano in-expect sa atin na dapat nating gawin kung wala na tayong makukuha ganong klaseng ebidensya and we cannot re-investigate anymore? And considering that we're talking about 7,000 as manifested by the PNP during the investigation sa Committee on Human Rights, inamin nila naman na almost 7,000 yung naging namatay sa drug on war. So ngayon, war on drugs. So ngayon, ang tanong, kakaunti lang yung katulad ni Miss Marisa Hamoy. Out of the 7,000, ilan lamang po yung naging successful na napakulong po natin yung perpetrator? Ilan lamang po sa mga hawak ninyo? Si Attorney Conti and then si Mr. Joel Sarmenta.
Your Honor, we reviewed 200 cases. Only 6 we could file in court. Only 1 we secured a conviction for.
Isa lang naging successful.
Out of total 200.
And with Joel Sarmenta, so si Miss Hamoy lang.
Based on me, hindi po. Filed and filed, but nothing happens. In fact,
So wala pang I thought yung perpetrator na nakakulong na right now. Hindi din po.
In
So
fact,
in other words, sa 7,000, isa lang ang nakulong. Isa lang?
Your Honor, from my count, there should be at least 8 police officers detained. 8 from 3 cases. Kian, Carl, and the Bonifacio case.
Bonifacio.
Convictions of police officers
So halos
for
lahat yung
extrajudicial
pinahal,
killings.
dismiss.
Yes, Your Honor,
So
unfortunately.
out of the 7,000, ilan yung na-dismiss?
If at all, kung may na-file. Actually, at one count in 2018, Your Honor, we were talking among ourselves, yung mga lawyers po. A handful of cases lang ang na-file namin between NUPL, FLAG, Ideals, some law groups, and even NBI and PAO. Binilang na po namin, ang bilang namin, 18 to 20 cases ang nakasampa na parang offensive, counter-offensive, kaso patungkol dun sa pagpatay. Yung iba pong kasong tinutukoy, kunyari, kaso na kinaso dun sa pinatay
Okay.
or nakasurvive.
Do you really, sige Mr. Joel Sarmenta.
Sorry, sir. Chair, and I'd like to note, yung Bonifacio case is only this 2024, mid-2024. So it's very recent. There's also the phenomenon of the Bertes case where the guilty policeman is now incarcerated for a different shooting. And in fact, the RTC of Pasay still has to be really pushed to reopen that case and really start prosecuting him.
I hope you guys know na hindi tayo mawala ng pag-asa, no. The reason why I'm trying to tell this is because of the reality. Na katulad na sinabi ni NBI Director na talagang pag wala na ebidensya, it's hard to re-investigate. And having said that, 2025 na po ngayon. And ang sinasabi po ni NBI Director, years back pa. And the more na magiging much more impossible to recover all those evidences. But mahirap naman pong bitawan na yung mga pamilya ng biktima. So we have to hang on and try to move forward and try to somehow yung reinvestigation, the best effort that we can do. Siguro, Mr. Chairman, medyo nasadin ako ngayon doon. Hindi na sana ako magtatanong. Pero parang naisip ko, out of the 7,000, ilan ba talagang naging successful? So ngayon, parang lumalabas na isa o dalawa lamang. Talagang nakakalungkot na yan. Talagang medyo this government, the present government, must do something to give justice to those families sa biktima. Yun lamang po, Mr. Chairman. At halinawa ay magkaroon talaga ng resolve ang ating pong national government, no?
Mr.
Especially
Chair.
the OJ
Chairman.
and the Office of the President.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Okay.
I give way to Congressman
Sige.
Paduano, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Congressman Paduano, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Salamat po. At least nakinig naman. Medyo nakinig din rin na pinagbigyan tayo ng pagkakataon na magsalita. Jen, before you recognize Chairman, General Salvador, Mr. Chairman, ganito lang po. I've heard about this statement coming from Mr. Sermenta. Sir, you mentioned about the representation of our country through the former DOJ Secretary on the International Human Rights Conference during the time. Being represented
UN
by
Human Rights. If I'm not
UN
mistaken,
Human Rights
in Geneva.
in Geneva, which was represented by the then DOJ Secretary Guevara, di ba? Medyo makalimutin na kasi itong si Chairman Abante siguro. But as far as I remember, in the first hearing of EJK in his Committee on Human Rights, it was mentioned by then DOJ Secretary Guevara about that conference, and he mentioned also that upon arrival during the time, he submitted a confidential report with regards to it, no, to the Office of the President through ES, Executive Secretary. Now, as far as I remember during the time when I asked him about the document, confidential document, I directly asked him if the committee or the Congress can ask the Executive Department to give us a copy of that confidential. Now, sabi niya, of course, the Office of the President through the ES will invoke executive privilege, etc., etc. But sabi ko nga sa kanya, what if? Kasi that report and those incidents in that report happens in the previous administration, and if the Office of the President through the ES will waive its right with regard to executive privilege, pwede po. Sabi niya, pwede. Kaya, Mr. Chairman, pwedeng balikan natin yung quad-comm. We once again, well, in fact, I move for it during that hearing that to the chair that we will write a letter to the Office of the President, to the ES, for us to give us the copy about that confidential report. Kasi mahalaga po yun. That's number one, Mr. Chairman. Kaya kailangan lang siguro natin pag-usapan ulit para makakuha tayo ng comprehensive confidential report with regards to EJK that was also delivered by, some portion of it was delivered also by then DOJ Secretary Guevara dun sa UN, United Nations Human Rights Conference at in Geneva. Now, second, Mr. Chairman, the case that was mentioned by the civil society groups, the Rise Up, well, in fact, it was also confirmed by the PNP that there are around 6,000 to 7,000 cases of nanlaban. And most of it, as confirmed by Director Labin, the NBI, karamihan po, wala. Now, ngayon, sabi nga kanina ni Chairman Abante, what can the PNP do about it? The NBI can do about it. I think, Mr. Chairman, They're not Superman. Hindi po sila Superman. Kasi 6,000 cases, hindi kaya po yun. To review, to investigate, to review. Yes, sabi natin 7,000. Kahit sabi ko nga kanina kay Chairman Barbers, kahit 2,000 o 3,000 na lang. Abutin lang po to be honest and candid about it. Abutin lang po ng next at patapos yung administrasyon na hindi po ito matatapos. Sa totoo lang po. Because we also don't want, PNP is involved in this. Nanlaban. Then you give the PNP the responsibility to review it. Wala. Sigurado yon, diba? At the same time, we will also do not want the organization of the PNP will focus on this. Marami pa po silang trabaho. Now, ganon din pong NBI. Pag binigay mo to yung 7,000 sa NBI, wala. Especially the statement coming from the Attorney Lavin na out of the 52, 13 only because some relatives of the victims are not anymore interested. They are not cooperating. Walang evidence, etc. etc. Walang mayari. Kahit anong motion natin dito, every hearing, i-move natin, walang mayari dito. Now, kaya nag-usap kami kanina ni Chairman Barbers, if the committee or my co-chairs, and of course, the lead chair, Chairman Barbers, will join me, siguro dun sa committee report or partial committee report na ilalabas natin, we will ask the executive department to create na super body or a commission to concentrate and investigate para yung mga agencies natin hindi magka-problema sa trabaho nila. Siguro may representative kami from the PNP doon sa commission na yon, pero dapat ito, this will result for a very fair, honest, and truthful result. Doon po sa sinasabi nating mga 7,000 cases of nanlaban. Para at least magiging yung question of result, possible result of this, kaysa bawat hearing natin, kukesyonin natin yung police, kukesyonin natin ang ganito, tapos mag-move tayo, invite si ganito, wala rin. Di ba? Kaya I suggest, Mr. Chairman, and to the members of this committee that siguro pwede tayong gumawa ng partial committee report with regards to EJK once again, and we will recommend to create such super body, whatever you call it, commission or whatever, to concentrate in these cases, for review and reinvestigation of all these cases. Yun po. Dalawa po. Again, once again, question of the confidential report that was submitted by then DOJ Secretary Guevara to the Office of the President, if he can get a copy of that, and a part of the partial committee report for the EJK to recommend to the executive department to create such body that I mentioned, whatever it is. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I would believe that in this administration, we have a different Philippine National Police. Am I right, Major General Salvador?
Yes, Your Honor.
And therefore, if we have a different Philippine National Police, I'd like to really strongly suggest that another motu proprio investigation should be conducted, and reopened with about 7,640 that died in police operations during the time of the former administration. Tulad po ng sinabi ni Congressman Dan Fernandez kanina, huwag kayo mawala ng pag-asa. Attorney Conti, Mrs. Salmenta, at Ma'am Fortune, lahat po kayo, na ipagpapatuloy po namin ito. In fact, election year po ngayon Kaya napakahirap po sa amin, We are being attacked left and right. And we are in the middle of the campaign. Pero nakita po namin yung pangangailangan na dapat talaga po nating ituloy ito. I also would like to agree with Congressman Paduano that a super body should be formed and created, no? Para patuloy ang investigasyong ito kahit na po mag-end ang 19th Congress. Well, we would like also to recognize Reverend Noel. I believe that he also has something to say, so we would like to recognize him now for him to say his own statements of what EJK right now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bilang kinatawan ng mga nanay ng biktima ng EJK, we would like to suggest a truth commission to continue the investigation. Kasi we see the impunity will logically continue with the killings. This truth commission, we suggest, is to continue investigating in view of the prosecution of the mastermind and the perpetrators. We should be selective. And another suggestion is, we suggest that there would be a compensation bill to compensate the victims na walang po ng breadwinner ang mga nanay. Thousands of them. But until now, they are suffering injustice. Nobody helped them. The policemen who were killed, there were system of reward. Pero yung mga biktima, walang tulong. That's why we would like to request, if there would be, if it is contemplated that there would be a compensation bill na bigyan ng scholarship yung mga anak ng victims, or kabuhayan, or dissenting bahay, para matulungan sila. And then, finally, security. Hanggang ngayon may mga threats pa rin ng mga victims. Yun lang po.
Maraming salamat po, Reverend Noel. No? Maganda po yung sinabi ninyo. In fact, nung iniimbestigahan po itong sinimulan natin sa Committee on Human Rights, ay napag-usapan na po yung Truth Commission. Ngayon po ito'y inulit ni Congressman Paduano na magkaroon tayo ng super body to actually investigate on this. At ito iniisip na namin, at hayaan nyo, Reverend Noel, pag-uusapan po namin ito ng quad-comm tungkol po sa Truth Commission sapagkat nais po nating ipagpatuloy itong investigasyon na ito sa EJK kahit na po matapos ang kongresong ito. Sapagkat June 30 po, bago ng kongreso, 20th Congress na. Oo. At nais ko sana, kahit na po bago ang may bago ng kongreso, na kaming dalawa na lang po ni Congressman ako ang may iiwan, may pagpapatuloy po namin itong quad-comm na ito. Pero between that, siguro po before we actually complete our investigation, that we now would like to really create a truth commission on this or a super body that would continue to investigate. Ano? So, do we have any other witness here or sole speaker that have not spoken yet? And we would like him to also speak and give us their view on the matter. Or do we have any more? Yes. So we have Congressman Adjong.
Yes, because you have been speaking for so long.
Yeah,
so, the chair would like to...
I was acting as the chairman.
I had
Because
my name listed as
you
one
have
of the
been speaking in the phone for too long.
Mr. Chair, I had my name listed earlier as one of the interpellators, but I give way to Congresswoman Franz Castro, our incoming senator. By the way, Mr. Chair, hindi lang po si Chairman Benny Abante at saka si Chairman Manong Romy ang may iwan dito. May iwan tayong lahat dito. I give way first.
Kung mananalo,
Kung mananalo, hopefully. So I give way first to Congresswoman Franz Castro.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Congresswoman Franz Castro, you recognize.
Okay, thank you Mr. Chair no doon sa forward-looking na pwedeng magawa natin doon sa mga biktima, pamilya ng mga biktima, yung mga immediate na pwedeng maitulong kagaya na nabanggit na ni Father Noel, no, yung livelihood, scholarship sa mga anak at saka yung iba pang mga pwedeng maitulong po ng ating Kongreso. So, Mr. Chair, ang question ko kasi for the second round na no, yung tungkol doon sa tinanong ko kanina kay Dr. Fortune, etong mga ebidensya like yung mga bullet no, yung slacks ng mga bullet, tini-turn over sa NBI. Tama po ba 'yon, Director Lavin?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Your Honors. If there is a court order, if there are incidents pending before the courts and the court would order the turnover of the evidence to the NBI, then the NBI would be glad to safekeep those pieces of evidence.
Okay. And Mr. Chair, kasi regular man or not regular yung nangyaring operations, pero dahil may namatay, Mr. Chair, so dapat lahat maimbestigahan. At tama ba na makuha yung mga pieces of evidence po?
Mr. Chair, Your Honors, to answer that, that is an ideal situation, Your Honor.
Oo, kasi Mr. Chair, parang hindi ko matanggap na may namatay dahil regular operation yan ay walang pananagutan yung ating mga pulis na nakapatay. No? At hindi pagpatay agad yung pwedeng dapat na gawin. No? Like yung i-disable mo yan, no, para maimbestigahan at maano. But anyway, Mr. Chair, ang tanong ko kasi yung tungkol doon sa Bloody Sunday massacre. No, yung Bloody Sunday massacre. So, Mr. Chair, at familiar ba ang NBI dito sa mga kaso na ito?
I'm not,
Lavin.
I do not have the records.
Yes.
Thank you.
So dahil wala rin naman talaga dito yung DOJ, tama po ba, Mr. Chair? Wala tayong DOJ, no? But anyway, next meeting, iimbitahan natin sila. So, kaugnay po noong Bloody Sunday Massacre, Mr. Chair, may we invite po yung AO35 Special Investigation Team ng Nasugbu, Batangas, kaugnay po dito. Kasi pinag-uusapan natin yung EJK, hindi lang naman po drugs no, related, kundi yung activist related po. So, Mr. Chair, pwede po ba natin maimbitahan yung Special Investigation Team by AO35, Nasugbu, Batangas, si DCP Dulce Ricafort Fuller ng DOJ. I move, Mr. Chair, no, para mas formal, to invite the Special Investigation Team, AO35 ng Nasugbu, Batangas, under the Department of Justice, si DCP Dulce M. Ricafort Fuller, Attorney Julio Cahigan Jr., NBI po ito. Tapos si Wilfredo Umaming, Investigation Agent, Riv Marlo Arturo Gotisan, Investigation Agent, Roger Siblangan Jr., Investigation Agent, and Sulikha Marie Conales, Investigation Agent, at Prosecution Attorney Jumila May Fugaban, Mr. Chair. May I move to invite?
I'm sure the committee secretary has taken note of the names of those personalities that Congresswoman Castro would like to invite for the next quad-comm hearing. So COMSEC, please make sure that they will be given invitations. Thank you, Congresswoman Castro.
Mr. Chair, related din po doon sa tanong ko lang po kung na-imbestigahan din po na-invite na-invite po yung minotion po ni Representative Arlene Brosas po na dapat na imbitahan ng mga pulis.
In the last
Yes.
the last committee hearing of the
Last
Quad.
committee hearing, Mr. Chair.
Yes, I'm sure we've taken note of those names. We've sent out, I think the COMSEC did not send the invitation for today's committee hearing,
Okay,
but maybe
next.
in the next.
Okay. So in the next committee hearing, yan, naimbitahan naman na po si Guillermo Ilyasar, si Lito Patay, Felipe Natividad, Warren Delim, si Jacinto Malinaw, Armelina Manalo. Ito po yung mga ground commander supervisor po, no. At saka yung ibinigay, marami po ito, bibigay na lang natin, Mr.
Yes.
Chair, sa kasi nasabi naman na to ni Congressman Arlene.
Meron na pong invitation niya, mga list of those names requested by Congresswoman Brosa. So, siguro sa susunod nating pagdinig ay iimbitahin na po natin sila.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. So, are there any other members who wish to... yes, Congressman Adyong.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Akala ko nakalimutan na yung chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll be very, very quick. I'd like to ask, because I forgot to ask Colonel Grijaldo regarding the Special Investigation Task Force. Was there a final result of the investigation?
The submission of the resolution of the
Yes.
SITG was already submitted to the CIDG, Your Honor.
So may nahuli na ba, na-identify na ba yung mga assailant, yung nakita sa CCTV? Were they
Your Honor,
apprehended?
I
Or
have
was there any
no,
case filed against a particular person?
I have no personal knowledge as to the resolution being done by the SITG, Your Honor.
That's unusual because you're part of the Special Investigation Task Force, hindi ba? Would you know?
Your Honor, I was already relieved from my position as the Chief of Police of Mandaluyong before it was resolved, Your Honor.
Yeah, because Mr. Chair, if I can recall last hearing, there was no individual that was charged in relation to the murder case of General Barayuga. That's so unfortunate because the government invested so much. They even created a special investigative task force to really unearth what caused and what are the culprits and what are the reason behind this murder. And yet so ironic because walang nakasuhan. Yun lang po. That's just my manifestation, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'd like to invite to the attention of General Wilkins Villanueva. Sir, magandang gabi po, sir. I'd like to take off from the line of questioning of Congressman Keith Flores earlier. I know these questions have been asked and then in the earlier previous hearings that we had, and I believe you have also, in fairness to you, you have also responded quite extensively on some areas, concerns by the committee. Just like to zero in on the issue of the Dumoy raid. Vis-a-vis, there's also another raid that happened, hindi ho ba? Apart from the Dumoy raid, there's also another area which a raid was also conducted, and there was also the issue on the Arlene Apartment, no? So, Mr. Chair, if I may understand it correctly, these are three separate occasions and events, but interlocking altogether. Tama ho ba, General Wilkins?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes, thank you very much. Earlier you said, and the portion of that you have already answered the question of Congressman Kit, but there seems to be, for me, sa akin lang po, in my own understanding, I'd just like to tighten some loose ends, no? tighten up some loose ends. So yes, you have already confirmed that there was the Dumoy raid in 2024, that this is a product of a 3-month surveillance. And apart from that, there was also a separate raid, no, in other location within Davao City. Ano po ba yung location na to, Mr. Chairman, General Wilkins?
There was a warehouse, chemical warehouse in Agdao.
Agdao,
Davao City.
tama, Agdao. Agdao. So there's the Dumoy, and there's the Agdao, and there's the
Bunawan.
Bunawan.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Akala ko ba, so tatlong raid po ito nangyari?
Tatlo, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So iba pa ho yung Arlene Apartments.
Yung
no?
Arlene Apartment, Mr. Chair, is not a raid. It's a
Yes.
visit.
Okay. Okay. So gusto ko lang pong this was also the raid was conducted by the same joint operation. Tama po ba?
No, Mr. Chair, on different days, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, but the same
operation.
team, same operation, same
Yes,
teams
Mr.
involved. Okay. So when you say joint operation, same team, you were talking about your unit, which you represent in this case sa PIDEA po, no?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And then with the assistance, of course, of the PNP, local PNP.
Yes,
Tama po
Mr.
ba?
Chair.
And what other agencies?
EDSOT, Mr. Chair.
EDSOT.
EDSOT.
I'm not-
And yung
Yes.
PACER, Mr. Chair, yung police, PACER, police emergency response, Your Honor. Ito yung na pumalit sa PAOK TF, Your Honor.
Can you be so kind enough, General Wilkins, as to spell out to us the acronym of EDSOT? Kasi I'm not
PACER,
good at...
Papa Alpha, Charlie Echo,
No, I mean,
Romeo.
what does it stand for?
Police Anti-Crime and Emergency Response, Mr. Chair.
But this is still under, a unit ba ito under PNP or PDEA?
Unit yan, sir, that was created to replace the PAOK TF,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you. So who heads among these three agencies? What are the coordination in terms of the one on top of everything, no? Monitoring, handling, the surveillance, doing all the directives. Which among these agencies would you say that you'll be
It was me, Mr. Chair.
Sino po?
I had the overall.
Yes. So meaning to say in terms of the principle of command and responsibility as well as concept of command and responsibility that applies to you po in this particular surveillance, in this particular raid. Tama po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, kanina po ang sagot niyo po kay Congressman Keith Flores, General, was that you already submitted a surveillance report. Tama po ba?
No, Mr. Chair. We submitted the after operation report of the Dumoy laboratory, the conduct of the clandestine laboratory operation at Dumoy. We also submitted a spot report on the raid, on the implementation of search warrant on the warehouse, chemical warehouse at Agdao, Davao City, and also submitted after operation report on the implementation of warrant dun sa Bunawan, Davao City, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so
Everything was submitted to the national office of the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency.
Okay. So, kanina po, and in early previous hearings, you mentioned that you have already invested so much on the surveillance, no? Doon po sa Dumoy, no? Before you conducted the raid. In fact, those personalities that you've mentioned, Joe Chua, Alan C., you have actually followed these individuals as part of your monitoring surveillance, no? Would you say that the same degree of surveillance was also been made on the three separate locations that you had conducted the raid? Halimbawa, ang Agdao ba yun, sir?
In Agdao, Mr. Chair, kita namin kasi, doon lang sila kumukuha ng mga crates, wooden boxes, papunta doon sa Dumoy Laboratory, Mr. Chair. So, walang tao doon sa Agdao. Doon sa Bunawan, Mr. Chair, is doon naglalagay yung si Alex Kim and si Jong Pilapil naman, Mr. Chair, is one of those in charge doon sa nakikita parate, doon sa Bunawan Polytech foam factory, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So, yung sa surveillance po, how do you prepare the surveillance report? Is it you who signed the surveillance report or including those other agencies that were involved in the operation?
Every end of the day, Mr. Chair, I collect all the reports. And then, delegate again kung ano yung next na duty nung incoming teams. Ina-analyze kasi namin yan, Mr. Chair, every day. Kung pwedeng tigilan na yung ibang personalities dahil every day, Mr. Chair, dumadami na dumadami yung person of interest. So, every day or twice a week, i-eliminate kami ng persons of interest so that makatutok talaga kami dun sa talagang nag-manage or operators ng clandestine laboratory, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So, to whom did you submit the surveillance report again?
Sa akin sila nagsasubmit.
Uh-huh.
However, it was covered by the case operation plan. I submit progress report sa National Office, Mr. Chair, as far as the case operation plan is concerned.
So, if for example, Mr. Chair, we request that surveillance report that you have prepared, would you think that it would be available for this committee to?
Everything was submitted sa National Office, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Which actually prompted the surveillance? What is it, your decision, Mr. Chair, or was it part of the overall decision of all of the agencies involved in the operation?
Come again,
Was it-
Mr. Chair. I didn't.
Yes, thank you. What prompted the surveillance? Is it because you have already a lead that prompted your office to conduct a monitoring and surveillance, including all of these other two agencies?
Mr. Chair, it started October 26, October 26 of 2004, when an information coming from the Intelligence and Investigations Division Service from the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency informed me that there is an impending arrival of a Chinese chemist to Davao City on that particular flight. The information came from our counterpart from the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration. So on that day, we immediately prepared surveillance team to follow yung sinasabi nilang Chinese chemist na padating sa Davao. And it started from there. Hanggang sa dumating sila doon sa Arlene Apartment. Doon tumuloy yung dalawang Chinese chemist, according sa information, doon tumuloy, habang sinusundan namin, tumuloy sila sa Arlene Apartment, Mr. Chair. So we started the surveillance operation there.
Okay. So just in order for this committee to be more appreciative of the timeline, this happened months before the Dumoy raid or
Months
this-
before.
Months before.
3 months before the Dumoy raid, Mr. Chair.
Okay,
Because
so-
it started October 26, 2004.
So the chemist that you were referring to, was it Alan C?
No, Mr. Chair.
Sino po yun? Would
Hindi
you know?
namin kilala, Mr. Chair. Walang pangalan, Mr. Chair. Basta, nasunda namin, papunta sa Arlene Apartment, and from there, we started the whole coverage of surveillance. Unfortunately, Mr. Chair, wala siya during that time na nang-raid kami, Mr. Chair. Wala yung dalawa doon, Mr. Chair.
But you mentioned in the previous hearings, Mr. Chair, General, that you already had a lead doon po sa case ni itong certain Alan C. That you have monitored and survey, yung magkaroon po kayo ng surveillance. In fact, dinikitan nyo po for past 3 months, no?
Yes, Mr.
Tama.
Chair.
Okay. So this was, before the arrival of these two Chinese nationals who allegedly are chemists and may involved in drug manufacturing, meron na po kayong lead with Alan C.
Wala pa, Mr. Chair.
So doon po nag-lead yung tong two chemist lead
Doon
that led
nag-start.
you
Doon nag-start ang investigation, Mr. Chair.
with Alan C.
Doon sa Arlene Apartment,
Okay.
kung saan tumuloy yung mga Chinese, Mr. Chair.
So, I'd just like to go down to details, no? Pardon me, General Wilkins, kasi gusto ko lang pong, sabi ko nga, maintindihan, may mga medyo gray area pa ako na hindi masyadong magets. Don't hesitate to correct my data, ha?
Yes, Mr.
General,
Chair.
Mr. Chair. Again, during the raid in Dumoy, 6 Chinese nationals were killed. Tama po ba, according to you? No?
6 nationals.
6 Chinese nationals.
Mr. Chair.
Just to refresh the memory, no, ng mga members dito, ano po yung manner ng kanilang pagpatay when you entered the premises? Were armed? Were they in what manner by which the agents at that time had decided to directly fire at these 6 nationals, which resulted to the death of these individuals?
Mr. Chair, we divided our team do sa first floor, second floor, at yung perimeter. Pagpasok namin, Mr. Chair, kita agad namin lulong yung mga in-check na naandun, sir. Lulong sa droga. Kumbaga, talaga nagwawala yung mga, may baril sila. So, doon nagkaputukan, Mr. Chair. Doon sa conduct of clandestine laboratory operation, Mr. Chair, as much as possible, ayaw namin pumutok doon. Kasi, any spark, may hydrogenator kasi doon sa clandestine laboratory, Mr. Chair. And any
It
spark...
might explode the entire facility, halimbawa.
Yes, explode yung entire facility. That's why ang instruction ko, kasi yun yung training namin, coming from the, trained kami ng United States Drug Enforcement Administration. So wag kayong walang puputok doon hangga't maaari. So yun ang instruction. Pagpasok pa lang namin, Mr. Chair, nagwawala na yung mga in-check na naandun. Pumuputok.
Okay. So sinabi niyo po may mga baril sila, which again, let me go back to the surveillance report. Nandun po sa surveillance report na sinait po niyo kung anong klaseng baril ang mga natagpuan niyo po na dala-dala or nasa side ng mga Chinese nationals, which actually made you decide to engage in firefight against, with this allegedly mga drug. Hindi allegedly kasi sabi mo nagdodroga sila, no? Ano pong klaseng mga baril ang hawak nila?
Mr. Chair, during the surveillance operation, wala kami nakikitang baril. Kasi
No, I'm sorry. During the raid.
spot report.
Yes, spot
Spot
report. Oo, okay.
Spot report, I cannot remember fully. Basta may nakita kami, may ginamit silang 45 pistol, 1911. May ginamit silang 9mm pistol, 9mm pistol. Hindi ito Mr. Chair, tunay na ito, hindi paltik. Basta I believe parang may 4 na baril na nakuha doon, Mr. Chair. At yung dalawa, Mr. Chair, is unarmed during that time. But I'd like to say na yung isa doon, Mr. Chair, is nakuha natin doon sa pinakadulo, pinakasulok, nagtatago, doon nakipag-agawa ng baril sa member ng EJK, Mr. Chair. Kaya nakipagbarilan din yung EJK at pinatay din yung isang in-check na unang aagaw ng baril doon, Mr.
So
Chair.
all of this information were available or were
Doon sa spot report,
sa
Mr.
SPART.
Chair.
Would you know, Mr. Chair, kung saan niyo po na-submit itong transport sa national?
We submitted that to the PDEA National Office. Doon sa National Office, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to ask PDEA. PDEA, can you confirm whether there is a spot report that were submitted to your office involving the raid at Dumoy? Dumoy, sorry. Sir, Dumoy raid.
Yes, Mr.
In detail, including all of the circumstance by which these Chinese nationals were killed, including all those arms that were also collected within the area, PDEA?
Yes, Mr. Chair, but the spot report, sir, is limited in details.
What do you mean limited in details?
There's a narration of the facts, only the daytime and the place of the incident, and the operating unit. But the weapons recovered, only one, sir, caliber 45.
Can you speak louder po? Sorry po, sir. Medyo mas matanda ho ang tenga ko sa iyo.
Only one pistol recovered, sir, that is caliber 45,
Yeah.
based
General,
on the spot report.
General Wilkins, you mentioned about a certain arms, but according to ASEC Gumban, this is only one.
We don't know, Mr. Chair. Soko na ang Mr. Chair, nag-investigate. Immediately, pumasok na ang Soko doon, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
But
So-
we saw firearms there, Mr. Chair.
But did
May
you...
picture yun, Mr. Chair.
Okay. But did you also include that in your SPART report?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Pidea, I just want to clarify something because this is part of the loose ends that I want to tighten up. Was there any spot report? Was there, narinig niyo naman po si General Wilkins, that firearms were photographed, they were also collected, and they were submitted to you attached with the spot report.
Usually, sir, the spot report is just the spot report.
Do you have it right now with you?
We have the spot report, sir.
Okay, can you please read to us the salient features or salient portions of that spot report?
Yes, sir. Operation details, date and time, December 31, 2004, 12 o'clock a.m. or that is midnight. Place of arrest, MacArthur Highway, Dumoy, Davao City, Davao del Sur. Operation type, search warrant. Issued by Honorable Judge, no name.
Can you go directly to the ones that I would like to solicit information from General Wilkins? How many firearms were there reported in this spot report?
Weapons recovered. Firearms, ammunition, magazine, quantity of ammunition, 0, magazine 0, description, pistol, caliber 45, no serial number.
Who signed that spot report, ASEC Gumban? Who prepared that?
This is unsigned, sir, but this is the spot report that we have recovered. That is 20 years ago, sir.
I know, but do you have a signature there? That
None, sir.
None. General Wilkins, is it part of the spot report supposedly that you signed the report?
Yes, Mr. Chair. May mga pictures pang kasama doon sa spot report
But
namin, Mr. Chair.
yes, okay.
And indicating doon yung mga baril na nakuha, Mr. Chair. Kung saan nakuha yung baril, kung nasaan yung tao, naandun lang. May complete picture yun sa Mr. Chair.
So I don't know if we are referencing to the same document because apparently Asek Gumban is reading on the paper, on the document that he's with him now, right now, and there's no signature. There's only one mention of a pistol, and we're talking about 6 Chinese nationals who were killed on the spot. And they were, according to General Wilkins, they were quite... How many pistols would you recall?
Parang 4 yun, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, but it does not go with the spot report that they
Mr.
have.
Chair.
Yes, please.
Kasi yung binigay ko sa National Office is the complete spot report. Yung pinapakita nila, Mr. Chair, is coming from the database na, sir. Wala namang narrative doon. Kung in-encode nila yon, hindi kompleto, hindi tama yung pagkakakuha nila doon sa spot report. Kasi, Mr. Chair, yung spot report na pinadala namin, kompleto yon with picture.
Okay. Maybe, Mr. Chair, kasi medyo late na rin po, just request, Mr. Chair, that if there's an available spot report, apart from what you're holding right now, ASIC Gumban, maybe you can also locate this spot report and then show the committee, or whether that's the only spot report that you have as in relation to Dumoy raid.
Except for the spot report, sir, we have also the logbook. And in the logbook, there was no mention of recovered pistol or recovered firearms.
Do you have the logbook right now? Maybe, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir, we have submitted it last year to the committee.
Okay. Maybe, Mr. Chair, next hearing, I'd like to delve more into this because this is a very widely publicized raid. No less than then the mayor of Davao City, President Duterte, was present after the raid. That's how important the Dumoy raid is. It was widely publicized and reported. in major local circulation. So I'm just wondering whether, I'm just wondering why there seems to be two versions on the same story and same incident that happened. General, I'm not, again, General Wilkins, the reason why I ask you to do not hesitate to correct my records, because I'm basing my questions on the documents that we are in possession. So right now, I'm looking at the details on how the Chinese were killed and the manner by which they were killed and why they were killed and how many pistols were there, sequestered or collected. According to you, kasi kayo po yung head nung operation na yun, and I also believe that you have prepared this spot report, no? How come PIDEA now cannot provide us with the spot report as you described it, when in fact, according to you, you have submitted all of these documents to the PIDEA National?
Mr. Chair, I suggest, Mr. Chair, we can also ask the SOCO of Region 11, Philippine National Police SOCO. Kasi sila yung nag-conduct ng after scene of the crime operation. But definitely, Mr. Chair, kasi part of the spot report, may 2 police na tinamaan dun, sir, Mr. Chair, on different places, on different area.
Okay.
So, imposible na nakikipagbarilan ng police tapos isa lang baril ang nakuha.
Okay. I think, Mr. Chair, no, with all due respect and in fairness to you, General Wilkins, kung ako po tatanungin mo, in your professional life, this would be one of your crowning moments because you were able to stop the local manufacturing of drugs. That's the reason why I'm very confused, because this is something that you should be proud of. Tapos yung basic na part actually of a protocol of a procedure of a raid that has been already been successfully conducted is yung report in black and white comprehensively at i-report sa national headquarters, in this case ang PIDEA. I am just trying to, yes, let me finish my my manifestation, and then later on I'll give you the time to respond. Bakit sa ngayon, when I'm asking the spot report, mukhang 2 version at hindi magkatugma? Ang sagot niyo po, explanation, and with the document that the PIDEA is now in possession. So yes, General Wilkins.
Mr. Chair, yung spot report na ibinigay namin, kompleto yon, Mr. Chair. Actually, I have a copy of that spot report before. But nasira lahat yon, Mr. Chair, nung nagkabro ng bagyong Ondoy. Actually, may kopya pa ako sa laptop ko noon during that time. Nakurap lahat yon, Mr. Chair. The only thing that I had during that time, na kumpleto from start of the case operation plan hanggang sa first progress report, hanggang sa fourth progress report, hanggang sa spot report na ipinadala namin sa PIDEA.
Okay.
Usually, sir, sa PIDEA, talagang operation center ang tumatanggap niyan. At pag kinulit ng operation center, itatype yan dun sa NDIS, yung National Drug Information System. Hindi natin alam, somewhere along the line, bakit hindi na ipasok yung baril. But, Mr. Chair, pinagpiyastahan ito ng pulis. Pinagpiyastahan ito ng AIDSOT. Ang daming na-promote sa kanila, Mr. Chair, because of that spot report. Nagumawa rin si Colonel Asierto. And doon sa spot report ni Colonel Asierto, meron din silang baril na in-report doon, Mr. Chair. It's not only one, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, I don't argue on that, and I believe that meron nga spot report. It's just that hindi ko nga mahanap. That's why I'm asking for it. And apparently, Asek Gumban, tama po ba na yan po yung spot report, no? Anyway, this is something that up to now, I'm being confused because sabi ko nga, masyadong importante itong Dumoy raid. Kasi kung from the perspective of law enforcement, successful ito na you were able to not only stop the proliferation of the manufacturing of local illegal drugs, but you're also identified those involved in the local manufacturing of the illegal drugs. It's just so happened that bakit hanggang ngayon wala tayong makitang spot report. And then your explanation po, General Wickens, does not coincide with the document that Asik Gumban is now reading to us in his possession. So anyway, let me proceed.
Kindly wrap up to Congressman Aguio.
Okay, sige. Anyway, let me proceed to another issue, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, a short interjection
Yes
lang.
po.
Kasi sinabi po kanina ni DG Wilkins, former DG, na doon daw sa nakita nila nakita nila na lulong sa droga po yung mga tao na nandoon. So have you conducted po yung test or toxicology test or whatever? Kasi baka nagiging judgmental lang tayo.
Mr. Chair, dun sa scene of the crime, usually, Mr. Chair, ang addict, normal addict, tutor lang yan eh. Tutor, water pipe, tapos foil. Mr. Chair, pagdating
nakita niyo
namin
po?
doon, yes, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, pagdating namin doon, yung pinaka-water pipe nila is nakalagay doon sa bote ng mineral water. Tapos ang laki ng tutor nila, ang laki ng water pipe talaga. Kasi tinetestingan nila yung gawa nila, Mr. Chair. Although, immediately
nakita niyo
kasi, Mr. Chair, pag after na neutralize na namin lahat, idinala namin sa Davao Sanitarium. Lahat yon. And unfortunately, pagdating namin doon, all of them were pronounced dead. So wala nang nakapag-conduct ng toxicology or what, kasi patay na lahat yung naandun sa Davao Sanitarium, Mr.
Ay,
Chair.
paano po yung autopsy? Nag-conduct ba ng autopsy?
Nag-conduct sila doon. Kompleto naman sila doon, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So, yun lang po, Mr. Chair, gusto ko na linawin, baka nagiging judgmental lang kasi sinasabi lulong. So, kailangan natin ng scientific investigation or report. Thank you po.
Yes. Mr. Chair, may I continue po, Mr. Chair? Yes, General Wilkins, di ba tatlong occasions po ito, no? Dumoy, Adlaw, Bunawan.
Bunawan, Mr. Chair.
Ito po yung mga raids. Yung may na-mention po kayong 11 Chinese nationals, ito po yung naaresto. Ilang tao po bang naaresto dun sa Adlaw?
Hindi ko alam kung ilan yung arrest. Walang naaresto sa
Walang
Adlaw,
na-arrest?
Mr. Chair.
Okay. Sa Bunawan, may naaresto po?
Wala na, Mr. Chair, kasi nakuha na namin si Jong Pilapil eh,
Okay.
sa Bunawan.
Okay. So, yung 11 Chinese nationals, ito yung sa Arlene Apartments.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so this was, yes.
11 people, not necessary lahat Chinese national. 11
How many of them
people,
were Chinese?
Hindi ko na nga, yun ang isa sa mga ano ko, Mr. Chair. Kasi ang BID ang ano niyan eh. It was Carillo and BID. Sila na yung nagdala ng mga personalities sa BID, Mr. Chair, for questioning. From Arlene Apartment, Mr. Yung apartment kasi, Mr. Chair, it's about 10-door apartment.
So ito pong sa Arlene, let me proceed with Arlene Apartments, no? So 11 individuals and some of them were Chinese, tama po ba?
Yes, yes, Mr. Chair.
So this was would it be safe to describe this Arlene Apartment as a post-raid operation? Because this is very much connected with Dumoy operation that you conducted. Was it a day after or 3 days after?
Actually, I believe it's after, it's conducted on January 1, Mr. Chair.
So this was after the Dumoy?
After the Dumoy.
Okay,
Mr.
so
Chair.
this is a post-operation investigation.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, tama po ba yung description
Hindi ko lang alam yung date, Mr. Chair, kasi naka-logbook naman yon, Mr. Chair, sa PDEA logbook, Mr. Chair.
Well, if you had already conducted a surveillance or at least had a lead with these two chemist nationals who went straight to Arlene Apartment, and you already have substantial information that Dumoy and Arlene Apartment may be very much well connected, bakit hindi nagkaroon ng sabay na operation with Dumoy and then at the same time Arlene? Why was there any separate investigation or a post-operation investigation that happened dyan sa Arlene Apartment?
Ang priority namin talaga doon, Mr. Chair, is Dumoy. Kasi naandun ang clandestine laboratory. So after that, post-operation na lang yung post-operation investigation na yung kinakandak natin after that Dumoy.
You said that 11 individuals were detained,
Invited.
aresto?
Mr. Chair, kasi wala ako doon eh. Kasi nga, immediately after that, dumating yung mga top-notch ng PNP, AFP, PDEA sa Dumoy. So that was January 1. Inasikaso namin sila and we conducted briefing on those top personalities doon sa Dumoy, Mr. Chair. And during that time, it was SPO for Carillo and according doon sa blatter is Colonel Quedato, ang nagdala ng mga personalities na nasa Dumoy papunta ng BID.
You mean the Bureau of Immigration?
Bureau of Immigration, Mr. Chair. Kasi nga, mga Chinese personalities yung mga naandon.
But let me correct my data kasi in the previous hearing, Mr. Chair, you said that 11 Chinese nationals ang na-apprehend or na-invite doon sa apartment, or would you correct your statement on this?
Hindi, again, Mr. Chair, wala akong idea sa number. Kasi nga, matagal na. So, hindi ko alam, Mr. Chair, kung ilan yung dinala doon sa BID, Mr. Chair. Kung 11 yun, then that's 11. But, it was recorded and logged through SPO for Carillo. Apparently, ang kasama niya is Colonel Quedato from who was the foreign liaison ng intelligence, PNP intelligence during that time.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, who ordered this post-operation investigation on Arlene Apartment? Since you were sabi nga kanina, ikaw yung head ng operation
Mr.
na to.
Chair.
So command responsibility applies to you.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Yes, Mr. Chair.
So who
Kasi,
ordered, since you were not there during this investigation, yung pagpunta sa Arlene Apartment, since you were absent and you mentioned about SPO for Baltasar Carillo,
Yes.
no?
Yes, sir.
Who apparently, it turned out that ito ba si Carillo, same Carillo ba ang
Carillo. Carillo,
namatay
Mr.
po sa
Chair.
service,
Yes, Mr.
active
Chair.
service. Ito pong si Monty Di Ramos din po, patay din.
investigator ko yan, Mr. Chair.
Patay din po.
Patay na din daw.
Okay, since you were not present in the Arlene Apartment post-operation, sino po ba sa mga team mo ang po pwedeng mag-corroborate? Kasi gusto kong malaman kung how these nationals or Chinese national were turned over to Bureau of Immigration, which I'd like to ask Bureau of Immigration later on.
Hindi ko na malaman, Mr. Chair, kasi ang parati ko naalala is yung team leader ko. And then the team leader chooses yung team niya, kung sino yung pwedeng
Pero kayo
kasama.
po yung nag-order nung
Yes,
ano?
yes, Mr. Chair. Yes,
Pero
Mr. Chair.
si SPO4 Baltasar Carillo po yung team leader ninyo.
Siya ang operations, chief of operations ko, Mr. Chair. And nakita niya na vital yung pag-investigate doon sa mga Chinese na naando sa Dumoy dahil ang dami pang unanswered question namin doon sa Arlene Apartment, Mr. Chair. Kasi 5-door nga yun, Mr. Chair eh. And all of the part of the apartment, yung 5 apartment na yon, is sila yung sila yung tumira doon during that time.
Well, I hope you can still remember the individuals or the officers who were also involved in the post-operation on Arlene Apartment. Kasi si Carillo, wala na po siya. Ito si Monte de Ramos, patay na rin po.
Alam ko, Mr. Chair, may
Can you
kasama
give us a name? Kasi
Davao City Police Office, but I don't know kung sino yung kasama nila eh.
I'm sure mayroon pong buhay sa member sa unit
I'm
na yun.
sure, Mr. Chair.
Would
But
you know?
kasi,
Can you give us names?
hindi ko nga matandaan kung sinong member ng Davao City Police Office na kasama namin. Kasi sila yung tumulong sa amin na mag-secure nung Chinese nationals at magdala sa Bureau of Immigration and Deportation,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Bureau of Immigration, do we have Bureau of Immigration?
Kaya nga, Mr. Chair, kaya nga it's vital kasi public knowledge ito, Mr. Chair, na talagang tanungin natin yung taga Bureau of Immigration kasi sila ang makakasagot doon sa post-operation natin sa Dumoy as far as Arlene Apartment is concerned, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Bureau of Immigration, do we have, please, sir, can you confirm to us that there was indeed a turnover of 11 individuals, many of them are Chinese, on the date that was mentioned in 2004, immediately after the Dumoy raid? These are apparently resident or sila po yung umuupa doon sa 5 doors ng Arlene Apartment. Can you give us provide us some information as to confirm that such turnover of these individuals from the investigative unit to BI, Region 11? Do you have a record? Kasi gusto ko malaman kung sino yung mga involved na members po nung unit na yun. Kasi apparently, dalawa ang na-mention po ay patay na. Yes, Bureau of Immigration.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. Good evening, Your Honors. Your Honor, Commissioner Viado wrote the quad-comm today requesting for additional time to locate the files because apparently the files would contain the complete name of the Chinese nationals there, the immigration officials involved in the turnover or whatever operation there is. We are unable to locate the files just now because the storage building used by the immigration was vacated and everything was moved to Malabon in September, Mr. Chair. So right now they're still trying to locate the files.
So sa Makatwid, you're having trouble locating the files.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
But narinig, meron po kayong at least man lang, can you confirm that there was indeed an incident took place in Davao City?
We cannot confirm that with certainty, Your Honor, but apparently there was indeed a turnover, but we are not sure of the personalities involved there. That is why the Bureau of Immigration is requesting for additional time to locate the files, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Dahil this is the reason why, Mr. Chair, I'm very much interested in finding out kung ano yung nangyari dito sa mga Chinese nationals at saka yung mga individuals. It's because can I ask again, General Wilkins? You said that you do not have any follow-up information regarding the 11 individuals that were arrested or invited to and turned over to BI. Tama po ba?
Na turnover sila sa NBI. Mr. Chair, ganito kasi. Pwede nating ma-find out kung sino yung in charge ng NBI during that time nung January 1, 2004. Kasi yung kung sinong in charge ng BID during that time, yun ang pwede sumagot, Mr. Chair. Kasi sila lang yung makakasagot doon, Mr. Chair. And hindi ko na follow up yon. Although, Mr. Chair, it's a public knowledge sa Davao City na naandun yung mga Chinese national, Mr.
That's why
even media is monitoring those people in the BID.
No, I'm not contesting that it really happened. But what I want is a black and white paper that confirms that there was a transfer. Because the reason, Mr. Chair, I'm asking this, it's because there's no information that available as to the 11 Chinese nationals after the turnover. There was not even an information kung anong nangyari kay Alan C. Hindi ho ba? Crowning moment ito eh. Dapat may follow-up yan na information. And I don't think we just leave it at that. After the Dumoy raid, the Adlaw, etc., titigil na po ang ating law enforcement agencies. Kung talagang totoong si Alan C. ang mastermind dyan, they could have at least follow up and follow through with the investigation regardless whether General Wilkins Villanueva was still the head of this investigative unit or not. That is where I'm having trouble understanding because it seems that we reached a dead end which supposed to be, andyan yung at large pa, si Alan C., kung titingnan natin kasi walang information, 11 nationals. But, this is what confuses me. But, the information that is available, consistent with the numbers, 11 and Alan C., is the testimony in affidavit of Las Cañas and the pronouncement of the former President Duterte. Kaya nga po tinatanong ko po kayo kung ano yung follow-up dito. Kasi if we try to get all the circumstances, the narration, etc., General Wilkins, you cannot provide me, and I wonder why you did not do follow-ups. I'm not saying that you remiss your job, but as, you know, you should have, that's your crowning moment. And Alan C., according to you, is, kumbaga, if we base our appreciation of all these facts that you have presented to us, Alan C. appears to be the mastermind. How come there was no follow-up? How come you cannot even pinpoint kung anong nangyari kay Alan C.? Pero, according po, according po sa isang news article and I guess a statement by the former president, ang sabi po niya, and I quote, no, pinapatay ito ang sinabi niya. Ang salaysay po ni Las Cañas, kasama daw sa turnover sa kanya isang taong nagangalang Alan C. Ayun po sa utos ni former Mayor Rodrigo Duterte. Now, that's the only information that we can have available to us after this Dumoy raid. That according to Las Cañas, there was an order of turnover and there was a direct order from then Mayor Duterte to, according dito, patayin si Alan C. If there's no available information that we can have, ito lang yung available na information, we cannot fault the members of this committee to believe Las Cañas because you're not offering us a counter-information, kumbaga, other alternative possible narration of what happened to Alan C. You said walang nangyari. Ngayon, according to this report that came out on March 6, 2017, I believe he was already president, ang sa headline, Duterte ordered killing of 11 Chinese drug suspects, which basically it's that pushes this representation, perhaps some of the members here in this committee, to believe that the numbers that were cited, 11, it coincides with the 11 Chinese nationals who up to now, wala tayong makuha na information from BI na according to the report, ang sabi po ay niliquidate na. So if General Wilkins, you cannot offer us another information, then you cannot fault this committee to believe in the affidavit because it fits quite perfectly well. I mean, accurately with the Las Cañas affidavit, if you corroborate that, ibangga mo doon sa mga data na sinubmit you, which apparently up to now ay walang follow-up na information at hanging yung resulta ng kanyang investigation from Arlene Apartment to BI to the number of Chinese to the claim of Colonel Las Cañas and even to the statement of then President Duterte. Tama po ba na analysis ko yon na General Wilkins Villanueva?
Mr. Chair, yun nga yung kinalulungkot namin. Kasi dalawa yung nakaligtas doon si Johnson Chua tsaka si Alan C. Johnson Chua, yun yung we believe na siya yung nag-finance talaga ng laboratory, Mr. Chair. Limited, during that time kasi, Mr. Chair, limited talaga yung capability namin. Kasi after that, nag-alisan na lahat Kami na lang naiwan So limited yung capability to look for yung as far as manhunt of those two personalities is concerned. Now, yung sila sabi na pumasok sa BID, hindi na alam kung ano nangyari. Mr. Chair, lumabas, may isang mga according to ex-Senator Trillanes, na galit nga siya dahil ang inilagay doon, dahil Chinese New Year, palalabasin yung mga matatandang incheck na inilagay na idinala sa BID, Mr. Chair. I still can remember that. Hindi ko lang dala yung laptop ko, Mr. Chair. Ibig sabihin, naandun yung mga Chinese personalities na inimbestigahan na doon sa BID, Mr. Chair. Kaya nga, it's really important for the Bureau of Immigration and Deportation to find out sino yung chief during that time. Kasi dapat siyang tanungin natin dito, Mr. Chair. Kasi sila yung tumanggap ng Chinese national dun sa kanilang departamento, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, we are all serious in really trying to protect our streets from illegal drug trade. We are all serious. We are nobody in this room, Mr. Chair, na magsasabing ayaw namin sa droga. Pare-pareho po tayo dyan. But let's be serious about it, no? Kung gusto ho natin talagang mapinpoint kung sino yung mastermind dyan, in this case, sabi nga, si Alan C., wala pang follow-up information, hindi nga natin alam. How can we seriously try to eliminate drug syndicate when in fact, if the only available information that we have is instead of a follow-up investigation, these 11 Chinese nationals could be a very important source of information to follow through your investigation. Because I believe this is not just a local problem. This is an international problem. And apparently, if these for Chinese nationals are involved in the illegal drugs, it means to say that we are importing illegal drugs. Kukonek ko po doon sa BIC, merong 6 metric tons, 6-point-something billion tons of chabu that were smuggled in right before our doorstep sa MICP. And it's very saddening, no? If you're really serious in trying to curb illegal drugs, root out illegal drugs from our system, from our country, then that was a perfect opportunity for us to really locate the big fishes, Alan C. But now we can even know where Alan C is. And yet here comes Las Cañas who are offering us an information that he did put a bullet in the head of Alan C. So it leaves us with no option but to believe in the affidavit that perhaps these 11 nationals were a victim of EJK. Would that be a correct assessment, General Wilkins Villanueva?
Hindi ko alam, Mr. Chair, kung
But you're offering us no
sasang-ayunan ko yon
Yeah.
or hindi. Basta ang pwede ko lang sabihin is yung meron akong personal knowledge. Napakalaking operation ito, Mr. Chair. Umabot, ang immediate follow-up kasi namin dito, it's not really on immediate sa apartment kasi yung mga naandon, Mr. Chair, dinoble check namin, wala namang kaming nakita during the surveillance operation na involve yung mga naandon. Pero, just the same, Chinese national Kaya diniretso na namin sila sa BID. Dumiretso kami dun sa pwedeng achievable follow-up operation, which is yung nakuha na namin nung May sa Cagayan de Oro, Mr. Chair. Doon kasi yung effort Kukunti lang ang tao namin during that time, Mr. Chair. Kaya yun yung effort namin. Sandali, baka may nakatayo na naman ng laboratory dito. Doon kami nag-effort talaga, Mr. Chair. Dahil we know, meron naman akong legal and investigation and prosecution team na magfa-file ng kaso doon sa mga nahuli namin. So, pinabayaan na natin yon. Ginawa na nila yung trabaho nila. We went on another possible laboratory which is doon namin nakuha doon sa Cagayan de Oro naman, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Well, for my last point, Mr. Chair, sayang lang. Kasi seryoso naman talaga tayo, lahat tayo, na itanggalin ang illegal drugs sa atin. Suportado. And I would like, and I even commend you for your services to the government. But ito lang po ang nakikita natin based on all of the raids that happened. And I think this is a lost opportunity sana. Jed Pilapil appeared before this committee and confirmed, recognized, identified that there was a certain individual by the name of Hong Min who owns DCLA mall in Davao City, which apparently Alan C., who according to your investigation is the head or the mastermind of the illegal drug manufacturing syndicate in Davao City, who happens to have a business in the mall that owns by Hong Min, who turned out to be Michael Yang. That's a lost opportunity. Sana, if we follow through, mas malaki pa yung makukuha nyo. Alan C. is nowhere to be found. Lost opportunity. And the only information that we gather is the statement of former President Duterte out in the public and Las Cañas. Mind you, General Wilkins, we don't make up stories here. We based our understanding on the documents that you submit, on the statements of any officials involved during the Dumlao and many other areas in Davao raids. No less than the former president said, pinaliquidate niya yung 11 Chinese. So you cannot fault the members here if we believe that, because you offer us no alternative, no other information than the information of Las Cañas, corroborated by then the statement came out. I don't know if it's an interview, but this is already out, and you can search that, you can Google that. The interview was there, conducted on March 6, 2017. He was already the president. That's a lost opportunity. If indeed, if we believe it to be true, what the president said in this interview, then the 11 Chinese could have been a very important source of information to track down transnational crimes. Sayang lang. Kasi kung according to the statement of then President Duterte, ay naging produkto sila ng EJK. It's an EJK because they had no other ways to defend themselves before the court. They were not even deported to China. I don't know if BI was already coordinated with the Chinese embassy to deport these Chinese nationals, but according to Las Cañas, they ended up with the bullets in their heads. Mr. Chair, marami pong salamat sa opportunity, and thank you, General Wilkins, for your service to the country.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Adyong. Just a short interjection, follow-up question dun sa tanong ni, before I recognize Congressman Acop. With your indulgence, Congressman Acop, kanina kasi nakikinig ako sa statement ni General Wilkins Villanueva. Sabi niya na 3 months yung surveillance operation, no? Kay Alan C. And yet, after the raid, we don't know where Alan C is. Correct? So, wala na tayong idea ano nangyari sa kanya, saan siya napunta, siya ba'y napatay, siya ba'y nakatakbo, siya ba'y nakatakas. Pangalawa, it was a big operation on a certain Mr. Johnson Chua, who is a known drug personality. No? And malaking operation yan, meaning lahat ng intel nyo, ginamit nyo, lahat ng surveillance na ginawa nyo, ginawa nyo. But apparently, after the raid, nawala na rin si Johnson Chua. No? Ngayon, doon sa tanong ni Congressman Adjong about the 11 Chinese, no, na nandoon sa Arlene Apartment, di ba? Nabanggit mo yun, nasa Arlene Apartment. Inaresto ba sila?
Hindi ko alam kung paano inano ni Carillo yon, Mr. Chair. Kasi kasama si Colonel
But
Quedato
Carillo was under
doon sa
you.
logbook.
Si Carillo ay under sa'yo, no?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And does he act upon your orders or he acts independently?
Yun na kasi yung follow-up na dapat doon sa Arlene Apartment, Mr. Chair. So,
Follow-up,
I surmise na they were invited for interview, Mr. Chair. But since napakarami ng hawak ang PIDEA during that time, ipinasok namin sa Bureau of Immigration para doon mag-conduct na investigation, Mr. Chair.
It was upon your orders na tinurn over ito sa Bureau of Immigration.
Yes, Mr.
So,
Chair.
I'm sure, dahil tinurn over mo yan, meron kang record of turnover, no?
I believe so, Mr. Chair.
So, do you have a copy or does PIDEA have a copy of the records of the turnover ng mga Chinese dun sa Bureau of Immigration? Do you have that?
Only in the Blatter report, sir.
Only the Blatter report. So, hindi tuloy natin malaman saan tayo mag-uumpisa, no?
Yun nga, Mr. Chair, it's vital na matanong natin yung kung sino in charge doon sa BID, Mr. Chair, on January 1, 2005, Mr. Chair.
Sige,
Kasi sila lang ang makakasagot doon, Mr. Chair.
Ma-access naman natin yan. So, it's just that parang mahiwaga lang na nakawala yung malalaking drug personalities na supposed to be under your eye, under your watchful eye, ika nga, no? Kasi surveillance nyo itong mga to. Si Johnson Chua, si Alan C. And then ngayon, no one knows, no one can tell us where are they. Do you have any idea kung nasan sila?
Yung immediate yung information, sir, is Johnson Chua immediately went to China. After nung sa raid doon sa Dumoy.
But diba, he was under surveillance ninyo eh. Paano nakalusot sa inyo yun? Paano nakatakas sa inyo? If he was really under your surveillance,
Yun nga, Mr. Chair, dahil kokonti lang talaga yung less than 20 lang kami noon, Mr. Chair, sa PDEA.
but yung PNP, hindi ba joint operations?
Yes, Mr. Chair, after the operation, the Dumoy, nagbalikan na. So ang naiwan na lang is AIDSOT na lang, tsaka kami,
But who
Mr.
was
Chair.
doing di niyo ba kinontinue yung surveillance?
Yung surveillance, Mr. Chair, halos twice a week pinapasok sa akin or every day.
Sige, anina lang natin yan. Explore natin ulit yan pag mahaba yung panahon natin. So, Congressman Acop, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yung theory ko, iba po dun sa theory ni Honorable Adjong. May I know, General Villanueva, you said that the big guns from offices from Manila came to Davao. May I know what date they arrived?
January 1, 2005, Mr. Chair.
January 1. Nangyari yung mga raids December 31, gabi. Would that be correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Tapos January 1, immediately nakarating yung mga big guns sa Krame.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Sino kaya nag-report sa kanila yung pangyayari?
Mr. Chair, ako, Mr. Chair. Actually, Mr. Chair, in the report ko na agad kay General Abenido yung Mr. Chair, prior to the implementation of search warrant.
Yeah.
Ang sabi nga sa akin, Mr. Chair, is wag muna at New Year yan.
Okay. Yun lang po ang gusto kong pakisagot lang po yun. Now, a certain Carillo is a member of your unit then?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Ang hinahanap ni Honorable Adjong yung 11. Tama?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yung puzzle, hindi kompleto. Kaya hindi ma-piece ni Honorable Adjong. Even myself, I cannot piece or complete the puzzle. Why? Because there are certain pieces that are missing. And the only available pieces of evidence would be the statement of Mrs. Jed Pilapil C., the blatter in the custody of PDEA regarding the sequence of events that transpired during that incident. That would be correct, PDEA.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And the third document would be the affidavit of Las Cañas. Tatlo, we do not know where Alan C. is. There's no report where he is from the official documents, except yung statement ni Mrs. Jed Pilapil C. when she appeared sa isang hearing. At ang sinabi niya na a friend called her during that time doon sa incident that her husband is already dead. Yun lang ang piece of evidence natin na magsasabi kung ano ang nangyari kay Alan C. Yung statement ng asawa niya na may nagsabi, tumawag sa kanya na patay na yung kanyang asawa. 2, yung 11, we do not know where they are. But the blatter of the PDEA will tell us that the elements of the government forces got them from Arlene Apartment. That would be correct, di ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And they were turned over sa police, doon sa blatter mismo. Right? But I did not see any part of the blatter. I do not know if I can remember it. Walang sinasabi sa blatter na nabasa ko na itinurn over sa BI. Is there? Asek Gumban?
There is a note here, sir, that it was turned over to BID.
Yeah, pero hindi sinabi kung sino sa BID ang tumanggap.
Yes, sir. No name, sir.
Yes. Mr. Chair, your Attorney Conte is asking for... Mr. Chair,
Okay. Yes, you're excused.
So yun ang magpapatunay, yung 11 na sinasabi ni Honorable Adjong. Tama? Na na-turnover sa BI.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes. But in the affidavit of Las Cañas, meron pang nawawalang 10. Because in the affidavit of Las Cañas, in the Dumoy raid, 6 ang patay, 10 ang buhay. And the 10 persons who were alive then were turned over by Carillo to Las Cañas. And according to the affidavit, gusto pa ngang sumama ni Carillo para daliin yung 10. So yun ngayon ang supported by documents. That is why I have another theory doon sa theory ni Honorable Adjong. Kasi tatlo yung grupo ng tao. One, si Alan C. Ang nagsasabi lang ang sitwasyon niya, sinabi ng isang kaibigan ni Mrs. C na patay na yung kanyang asawa. Yung 11, ang ebidensya lang na may 11 na taken from the Arlene Apartments, yung blatter na nandun sa PDEA. Correct, Asay Kumba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Pero, another document, yung affidavit ni Las Cañas, nagsasabi, may 10 tao pa. What can you say about that, Gerald Villanueva?
I can say anything about Mr. Las Cañas, Mr. Chair. But yung sa Arlene Apartment,
That would you agree that Las Cañas was there in Davao during that time, 2004?
come again, Mr. Chair.
Would you agree that Las Cañas was there in Davao in 2004? Kasi 20 years ago ito eh.
Hindi ko, Mr. Chair, hindi ko kasi kilala si Las Cañas eh. Never talagang nakita ko si Las Cañas at hindi ko siya kilala,
Yeah,
Mr. Chair.
Pero sinasabi ko na ito yung mga dokumento. Samantalang yung mga sinasabi nyo, there's no evidence whatsoever which are available. Di ba? Wala. Pero ito, tama nga yung sinasabi ni Honorable Adjong eh. There's no recourse for us to believe yung sinasabi ni Las Cañas. Kasi nandito eh, affidavit. Subscribe and sworn to. Samantalang yung mga sinasabi ninyo, you cannot offer any piece of evidence. Patay na si Carillo, patay na yung nag-imbestiga kay Jed Pilapilsi. Di ba? Wala. May presenta ba kayo na ebidensya? Aside from these documents na nandyan? Kaya sabi ko, we cannot complete the puzzle simply because some pieces are not available. But we can we can come up with certain conclusions na pwedeng patay na si Alan C. May 10 tao na namatay din at may 11 na tinurn over sa BID. Why? Because it's supported by evidence. Pero yung sinasabi ninyo, wala kayong ebidensya na may pakita sa amin. Hinahanap nga ni Honorable Adjong eh. Pero wala. So that is the current situation. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair,
Thank you, Congressman Acop. Yes, Congressman Abante.
I would like to just refer this to Major General Salvador, no? Because there are 2 still active police officers that are involved in the killings. We have actually asked them to be here, no? One is Colonel Patay, who admitted that during his time in Batasan as station commander, that more than 100 people were killed under his command. Ito, command responsibility ito, no? Pangalawa, si Colonel Marcos, who admitted that he was the leader of a contingent of 20 people that went to the jail where Mayor Espinosa was detained. And he told his deputy, a major, to enter the jail with 6 of his men on the basis of a search warrant, and then they got out, and all of a sudden, Mayor Espinosa was killed. Still, these 2 police officers do not have any cases against them. Now, Colonel Marcos has said that all the cases he had were dismissed. Were dismissed. So I would like to find out from General Salvador, what would you do, for example, with these 2 still active police officers? Command responsibility yan.
We will refer the case to the DIDM, Your Honor, the Directorate for Investigation and Detective Management. They are the ones, the offices that oversee cases like this. Of course, with the authority coming from the Chief PNP.
I would strongly suggest, Mr. Chair, that Colonel Patay and Colonel Marcos should be held accountable under the law of command responsibility on the deaths that that happened in their command, Mr. Chair. Also, I'd like to ask Mr. Chair, upon reading the affidavit of Miss Nova Princess Parohinog, I'd like to quote the last 2 paragraphs of this affidavit, where she said, "Despite being innocent, I was wrongly convicted of a crime fabricated by the police. I continue to face prosecution for other baseless charges in which I have no involvement. The Duterte administration's so-called war on drugs has claimed far too many lives, including those of my loved ones. Yet, despite this immense loss and suffering, I refuse to remain silent. I am fighting for justice to the courts, determined to clear my name and to expose the truth, what truly happened, not only in memory of my parents and family members, but also for all the innocent civilians who were mercilessly killed." I have actually mentioned to you, Mr. Chair, that during our hearing in the Committee on Human Rights, that Ms. Nova Princess Paruhinog wrote me a letter asking that she be invited in the hearing. So, I believe that she has the right to be heard, Mr. Chair, because I believe that she has a lot of things to say about what happened to her and her family during the war on drugs of the last administration. So may I make a motion, Mr. Chair, that we, in the next hearing we have, to invite Nova Princess Parohinog and also to invite Herbert Culango, that I believe would be able to corroborate the statement of Kerwin Espinosa on fabricating stories implicating former Senator and Secretary of Justice Lala de Lima. I also would like to invite once again Kerwin Espinosa and Colonel Espinido on the next hearing, Mr. Chair. I so move.
There is a motion to invite the personalities mentioned by Congressman Abante, and this was duly seconded. And hearing no objections, the motion is approved. So, Comsec, please take note of the request of Congressman Abante. with respect to the personalities to be invited in the next committee hearing. So since there are no other members who wish to interpolate, we'd like to thank our resource persons for patiently staying and patiently listening. And of course, thank you for attending this first hearing of the quad-comm for the year 2025. And we
Mr.
do
Chair,
expect...
I included, Colonel Spinito to be invited.
Yes, yes. And we do expect that the next hearing, you will still be around and willing to cooperate with the committee. So, maraming salamat po sa inyo at Happy New Year. Thank you.
I would like to make a motion to suspend.
There's a motion
Second.
to suspend, duly seconded. Hearing no objections, the hearing is now suspended.
Mr. Chair, while we are suspended, I would like to say is still working.
Happy birthday, Chairman Paduano.